Tanner, don't get nervous. Hey, man, you between two linebackers here, man.
I like hearing this talk.
Why not me?
Yeah, but it was just crazy, man.
Man, I know we're going to have some beef in a one-on-one.
The Players Club is presented by Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Washington Commanders. Welcome into the Players Club. I'm London Fletcher, joined always by my man Santana Moss. And we got a special guest, Jamin Davis.
Yes, indeed.
Baller out there putting in work.
Yes, sir, man.
At the linebacker position. Time for the Player Profile, presented by Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Washington Commanders. It's interesting they talked about people telling you what you couldn't do because physically, 6'3", 240 pounds. Like, I know you, unless you were a late bloomer, you probably had, great physical skills even growing up, and yet it was still people that didn't believe in you as you were coming up.
Absolutely. I mean, like I said before, I'm from South Georgia, man, so it's not too many opportunities down there if you're not a big-time kid, 5-star, anything like that. So it's more so about the work that you're putting in behind the scenes. And I guess for me, just, always hearing, no, you can't do this, you can't do that, it was always, okay, well, I'm going to have to go out there and prove you wrong, whatever I'm doing, whether it's football, basketball, or even if I'm sitting working on a car, I'm going to always try to figure out a way to prove you wrong. So
Speaking of saying people have spoken that, because I'm pretty sure London, being an undersized kind of linebacker, me, undersized wide receiver, I heard from day one, man, you too small. You'll never be able to do this or do that. But to have arrived at, I guess you could say the pinnacle of all our careers, playing the National Football League, to be here and still hear some of those naysayers saying, well, he isn't doing this right, or he, what was that like? Because if you cut on the film, like I watch film and I see that number show up all the time. Right. So what is it like to know what you're doing, know the transition that it takes for you to kind of get your feet wet in this league, and it's not something that's just going to happen overnight?
Right.
How has that journey been, just to hear the stuff but still have to go out there and you're producing? Because, we talking about you a lot more. And even when we weren't talking about you, we knew you was young. You had to get, used to everything. How has that been for you?
I mean, it's been pretty rough at times, I ain't gonna lie to you, but just, trusting growth and trusting at the end of the day, like I've been here before, you know what I mean? So for me, just knowing that, I've walked in this path before and knowing that it's gonna take time to get used to seeing this play a lot faster than it was before, like it was last year or anything like that. And just trusting my work at the end of the day, like behind the scenes, everything I was doing, I just knew at the end of the day, it's gonna get to where I wanted it to be.
I'm glad that Tanner brought that up, because Tanner and I, we would have conversations, especially early last year, and you hear the negative. I'm like, and I'm looking at film. Hey, I'm like, man, Jamin doing a hell of a job. Like I don't know a whole lot about a lot, but I know about football in particular. I know about defensive football and linebacker play. And you and I even had a couple conversations. I'm like, man, he's doing what he could he. Technique got him in, beat on this play, but it ain't nothing where you correct, you learn from it. It's football. And just watching you grow, like these first 3 games, man, we haven't had we talked a lot about the play you made against the Broncos, the forced fumble, but even beyond that, it was so many plays that you're making. I've seen you take on guards and get greedy. Yeah. And what I mean by getting greedy, make not just going 1-for-1, getting rid of the block and making tackles and stuff like that. So when you look back to your growth as coming in, raw out of Kentucky, and then now your 3rd year in the league, what do you think has evolved most in your game?
Definitely just trusting what Del Rio and Coach Rivera and Coach Russ have been telling me is just, you're supposed to be here on this fit or whatever, but at the same time, it's like, why can't I make the play? You know what I mean? So over time, it's like when I first came in, I'm like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be specifically for this fit. But at the end of the day, now I could put a Jamin Davis spin to it and be able to beat the safety to the player or Cody Barton or whoever else. I got to beat them to the play so I can make my own spin,
I like how you say put a Jamin Davis spin to it, because that reminds me of hearing Kyle Shanahan say, Tanner, I understand I told you to do that, but overcome coaching sometime. Be you. Do what you do. Do what you do best. And I used to look at him like, now don't let me do what I do best and then you harp on me for doing what I wanted to do. So having that chance to say you put your spin on certain things, I'm not sure, because I see you flashing. It's sometimes you like, man, what's he supposed to be there? But he there.
Right.
Have you gotten a chance now because you're comfortable to do that a lot more?
For sure. I think it's a lot more of like, okay, I'm not a robot at the end of the day. That's something that Coach Russ says a lot. Like, we're not here to build robots. So it's like, at the end of the day, you just got to let instincts take over and trust what you've been doing. And like, I've been doing this since 7 years old, just about. So at the end of the day, I just go out there and now I'm just trying to play fast and be confident and know, like, if I mess up, I know I got 11 or 10 other guys flying around with me that's going to make up for it. So,
what's it like, you know, having your former teammate at Kentucky, Chris Rodriguez, on the team with you now?
Man, I couldn't believe when we first picked him up. I was like, oh, man, I know we're going to have some beef in a one-on-one. But nah, man, it was pretty cool just having another Kentucky guy on board and just knowing he's going to be a workhorse and he's going to continue to work hard to do what he need to do on his side of the ball.
Speaking of workhorse, how was he in college? Because, I mean, we look at him, we like, this dude's the bruiser. Like, we finna get a guy that's like, he's an android. Like, he's going to run through dudes, you know what I mean? And to see him now, you know, how was he in college?
Absolutely. I mean, I know they got a lot of love for him out there in Lexington for sure. He was one of them guys that he gonna come up and show out every time he get a chance. So just a big bowling ball guy that, you know, you run your feet on contact with him or otherwise you gonna pay.
He said you gotta run that feet.
Yeah, for sure. So
Kentucky, like when I think of Kentucky, we think basketball.
Yeah.
Oh man.
How was it like playing football at a basketball school, so to speak, at Kentucky? Did y'all get a lot of love as football players?
I mean, over time, I'm pretty sure to this day, all the guys there can speak for me on this one too, is we bought into what Coach Stoops was saying. And at the end of the day, you want to come somewhere where it's going to be changed within the program and you see guys that's growing and they coming and recruiting and developing. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I just bought into that message really, really early. And, I mean, just went out there and played ball at the end of the day. That's all it really was for me.
Right now in the season, we sitting at 2-1. What has it been like for you on the defensive side of things? Because you guys are just, man, you guys are clicking. You know, I mean, even last week game when we was down by 16, I'm sitting there like, man, the defense got us in this game. You know what I mean? These guys are flying around, playing well. You got a new linebacker partner there in Barton. How has it been together collectively for all you guys? Is it something that you guys kind of picked up on last year late in the season? Because when things kind of changed too late last year, you can see the same kind of play. Or is that something that y'all had to kind of do all over again because you have so many new pieces, new bodies out there?
Not necessarily. I mean, I think that's something that dates all the way back to like OTAs and training camp where everybody just trusting what's going on around us and knowing that, like I said before, if this guy didn't make a play or whatever, we got 10 other guys that's coming to the ball. So, I mean, we just trying to hunt as a pack at the end of the day. You can't just go out there and expect to make whatever individual plays. If we all playing together at the end of the day, that's going to be the central message, is just keep flying around, keep playing, and if something don't go right, cap it onto the next play. That's the mentality that we got.
All right, so we're just getting started here on the Players Club. When we come back, we're talking about who's going to set the tone and take a look at some of Jamin's biggest plays from his career. Still to come on the Players Club.
That definitely was a play for me where I'm going out trying to make a statement to let everybody know how I'm coming this year.
I was all about picks, man. So, you know, reading the quarterback, knowing I'm a receiver, I knew how to do.
You was just trying to get your hands on the ball. You weren't trying to get down and dirty too much.
At all.
Join us at Tap Sports Bar inside MGM National Harbor for Washington Commanders rallies presented by Bud Light. When the Commanders hit the road, there's no better place to catch all the action than at Tap Sports Bar, beginning 1 hour before kickoff, with appearances by the Hype Squad, Command Force, and Washington Legends. You do not want to miss out. We will see you at Tap Sports Bar inside MGM National Harbor for Commanders rallies every away game, presented by Bud Light. It's the place to be when the Commanders are on the road. Welcome back to the Players Club. London Fletcher, Santana Moss, Jamin Davis. Jamin, it's time to talk defense, man. We got Tanner here. Tanner, don't get nervous. You between two linebackers here, man.
I like hearing this talk, man. I played a little bit on that side of the ball, so I know what time it is.
Tanner always talk about how he wanted to be a corner growing up, or how he was a corner growing up. Yeah.
I mean, look, don't get me wrong now. I don't like to bang all day.
That's what I was going to say.
I will when I have to. You know what I'm saying? And especially as a receiver. I was a guy that I went in there and cracked them safeties when I had to.
For sure.
But I love being a cornerback when I played. I was all about picks, man. So, reading the quarterback, knowing I'm a receiver, I knew how to do.
You was just trying to get your hands on the ball. You weren't trying to get down and dirty too much.
At all.
Let's talk about this defense, our defense in particular. It's time for Protect the House, brought to you by Johnson Kendall Johnson, the official insurance broker and risk management partner of the Washington Commanders, where our passion is your protection. We know about the dominant defensive front, playing behind those guys, man. I know it has. That's a dream for a linebacker to have those type of guys.
For sure.
When you, what's it like being behind them dudes, man?
Oh man, Honestly, it's a blessing. I say that to this day because sometimes they even beat you to the ball. But at the end of the day, like I said, man, I be trying to make whatever plays I can. But you got a guy like John Allen and Chase and Tez up there and all the rest of their room as well. Like every single one of them guys, they always gonna go out there and play their hearts out and just be some straight dogs. So I love it.
You got a new running mate at the linebacker, Cody Barton. It seems like every game you guys are getting better and better and more comfortable with each other. You know, your first couple years was spent with Cole Holcomb. What's that adjustment been like playing with Cody Barton out on the field now?
It's been pretty smooth because it's not too much of a difference between the two. And then, of course, like his dedication to the game is just as smooth as mine. So we sitting around watching extra film whenever we can and just, you know, I'm asking him like, hey, what you see on this specific play versus this one, or, you know, whatever different keys that I can pick up on and just kind of have it to where we on the same wavelength, so to speak. So, I mean, at the end of the day, with a guy like Cody, he gonna go out there and put his heart into this game as well. So I love it so far.
What has it been like far as just, you know, having some of those young guys that we brought in, you know, bringing them up to speed? You know, you see Forbes out there. He gets his chances every now and then. But it's like, you know, not even just Forbes. You have the guy in the back end at safety who came from B. Mitch school.
Percy Butler.
Butler. Seeing him on the field more too. You know, you see a lot of bodies now, you know, that just getting those opportunities. How has it been kind of getting them caught up to speed? Is it something that y'all do collectively, or is it that their room taking care of their room? But when because you know you're a linebacker, so somebody's talking to everybody. You know what I mean? It might not be you all the time, might be Bart or whoever. But how is it to get, you know, everybody to be on one accord?
Well, that's kind of the same thing I just said with even Cody. Like just the other day, we had sat down outside of the coaches and all was just sitting together. Just, hey, what you see on this play? You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. And at the end of the day, like I said too, is a lot of guys think like you got to go out there and be perfect and all of this, but we not, like they say, trying to create robots. So if you just going out there being yourself, at the end of the day, they going to catch up to speed on their own because that's what you're here to do. You know?
I love the fact that you mentioned how y'all getting together, watching film outside of the coaches. And that's what it takes, that especially on that back end, because, you know, you get motions, you get change of strengths and all those types of things. And y'all all need to be communicating. It could be not necessarily how it's drawn up in the classroom or how, but if y'all are all on the same page and we all together, you can get through that down. As you look at kind of this defense and going against an offense, getting ready to go against the Philadelphia Eagles and the challenges that they present, what's it like? First and foremost, playing against an Eagles offense and all the different challenges that they have, and then couple that with the fact that you're going to have to go into their building and play them.
I mean, it's kind of the same message we had going into it last year. I mean, we don't really worry about the outside noise too much. And then, you know, you got a guy like Jalen Hurts back there running the offense. So it's more so to speak, just play our game at the end of the day. You know, he's a threat with his legs and his arm as well. So we just got to sit, make him play quarterback, fly around, limit them as far as first and second down, of course, and just get off the field on third.
Having a little success early this year in the first two games and then having your first loss, how different has the approach been? You know, you always, because I know how it was for us, and it's always different. You know, when you mess up a couple of times in the game and you win, coaches might put a little Band-Aid on there. All right, man, hey, do this better next time. But after a loss, everything is magnified. I mean, you just see everything that might have happened that, hey, I did that last week, coach, and you wasn't tripping. How has that been, or has it been to the point to where the defense played a pretty decent game that I didn't have to really correct too much this week?
I mean, not necessarily. At the end of the day, we try our hardest to be a player-led team. So it's like sometimes you don't even need the coach to step up and say, hey, make a tackle or do this, do that, or whatever. So it's like, you know, we know what mistakes that we made coming in to the game, and just going forward, we want to go out and play a lot faster, start a lot faster, create more turnovers that's left out there on the table, and just, you know, not leaving the meat on the bone.
I like that.
Man, I'm loving this, man. But I want y'all to stay tuned, because when we come back, we're looking at Jamin's most rewarding moments and some of his biggest plays. Still to come on the Players Club. This linebacker playing at his finest.
As soon as I see him roll out and take off, I'm like, okay, he carrying like a loaf of bread. I might be able to get it out. So.
Welcome back to the Players Club. Santana Moss, Jamin Davis. It's time for Jamin's most rewarding moment, brought to you by Fanatics Sportsbook, the most rewarding sportsbook. Please play responsibly. Jamin, what's your most rewarding moment of your career?
Probably my pick six, honestly. When I was still in college playing against Tennessee.
Oh, I remember that. They showed that the whole draft when we was drafting.
That probably was the most rewarding for sure because that was my first ever pick six, actually.
Really?
Pee-wee, middle school, anything. So it was definitely something I'm going to just take with me for the rest of my life and try to add to it while I'm here.
What about you, Tanner? You get. I know you got a lot of moments, man.
Yeah,
you
I got some moments, man. I don't want to dwell. Since he brought up college, I mean, I'm gonna stick to the college. I think one of my most rewarding moments was senior day. It was parents' night. You know, that last game you play as a senior.
Yeah.
And I remember, man, coming into that stadium, coming to the OB. He was getting ready to play. We was playing Boston College. It was my senior year, and we was trying to go to the national championship game. We was a second-ranked team. And, man, I remember seeing my mom and my dad, and I just told them thank you. You know, I had a little tear or two rattle down my eye. And I'm like, thank y'all. Y'all gave me a chance to live out my dream.
Right.
And, man, I went up and put 3 touchdowns on Boston College. And my last one, I broke a record. I broke like 2 records on my last one. I ran an 80-something yard punt return. And it wasn't, I broke the all-time, punt return in yardage and the longest punt return or something like that. But it was just crazy, man. And I remember just sitting there like, man, I just did this on my last game in the OB. So that, to me, before all the other stuff I've done in my career, that was my most rewarding one.
Right.
Yeah, as I think back to my career, I got to go back to my rookie year. So I'm undrafted, free agent. I wasn't first round draft pick like you guys, but undrafted out of Division III school, barely given a chance to make the team. And I end up not only making the team as an undrafted rookie, but being elected as a captain, and I won the Rookie of the Year for our team. So it was just like, man, when you think back to draft day disappointment, when I think back to that moment, all the different hurdles that I had to go through to make the football team, and then fast forward to the end of the season, and they're like, London, you are Rookie of the Year. I was like, man, that right there, because that from that year, it kind of catapulted me to the rest of the career that I had.
Right.
That's the rewarding moments. Now we're going to check out some of your big plays, man.
Let's do it.
Let's take a look at Driving Towards Greatness, presented by Eastern's Automotive Group. Any car, any way, for everyone since 1988.
Jamin, we're about to look at some of your biggest plays so far from this season. We got 1st and 10 against the Cardinals first week of the season. That's the first play of the game, if I can remember correctly, for the defense.
Yeah, for sure. That definitely was a play for me where I'm going out trying to make a statement to let everybody know how I'm coming this year. That's really what it was.
What'd you see on that play before the ball is snapped, or even post snap?
Just seeing how they came out originally in that formation, that was one of the things we seen on film, knowing that they wanted to start out running stretch. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to try to, even if we don't have an edge, I'm going to try to beat him to the point and try to make a play on the ball. So like I said before, I seen him, I didn't see the edge there. I was just letting instincts take over, I guess, and trying to make a play.
All right, this second play, we up against the Broncos, 2nd and 15. You got a sack and a forced fumble here. Did you come with it like saying, man, I got to make this dude fumble right here?
Yeah, man. That was one of them things with film as well. We knew that if he didn't have what he wanted downfield, it was more so of just take off and go make a play on the ball. So as soon as I see him roll out and take off, I'm like, okay, he carrying like a loaf of bread. I might be able to get it out. So like I said, no meat left on the bone.
But not only that, at this junction in the game,
that turned things
we're
around.
down 21-3.
Yeah.
Just gave up a 45-yard punt return.
Right.
Things are looking kind of dire.
Yeah.
Need a play to be made, and you come out and make that play, man.
Yeah, for sure. It's one of them things where it's like, why not me? We got to keep playing at the end of the day. It's 4 quarters to a game, so we had to keep rolling.
All right, we seen your range. Now we want to see you cover, man. 2nd and 20 against the Buffalo Bills. Chase with the pressure. What are you saying right here?
Oh, man. This was one of them things where I knew that they was going to try to pick on me, actually, because I seen 14 right there, and he's a pretty dangerous guy.
Yeah.
Right.
So I just, I relied a lot on instincts right here, knowing that I could play it top down, whether they ran that dig behind me or not. And once I seen him sitting there and I seen the pressure was starting to get there to Josh Allen as well, I just was like, naturally let me trigger and just try to go make a play on the ball if he do dump it down to him, which he did. So
they had Diggs in the backfield. That was interesting, man.
Yeah, man.
This linebacker playing at his finest, Santana. That's that right there with him talking through it.
Yeah.
Understand that, hey, they got you, isolated against him.
Yeah.
They probably was expecting man to man.
Exactly.
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 Y'all went zone, and to make
Try to
that
switch
play,
it up
man. I
on
know
him,
that had to feel good, though.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Especially with a guy like that, man. A dangerous threat in him is always going to feel good making a play.
All right, man. So we're gonna have you continue our tradition while we sign this. Have you sign this helmet?
Oh yeah.
But I also wanted to ask you one more question.
What's up?
We've seen you, the plays you've made so far this season. The sky's the limit. What's next? What can we expect from you moving forward this season?
To continue to just be myself at the end of the day, whether it's trying to go out and express myself with TFLs or whatever it may be, an interception, hopefully sometime soon. Yeah. But, just continue to be Jamin Davis, continue to trust coaching, and just keep playing, man. That's all it really boiled down to for me.
I love it. Welcome back to the Players Club here with Santana, getting ready to play those Philadelphia Eagles, man. We had some battles with those Eagles.
Did we?
What's some of your favorite memories going against those Philadelphia Eagles?
I have a few, man. I have a few that I don't like, and I have a few that I remember. It was just pivotal moments in my career. I think my very first memory of going against them was my first year here. I had saw them probably once or twice early in my career when I was with the Jets. But here it was memorable because in that 2005 season, my first year here, we literally had to play them up there. I believe it was New Year's Eve. And we had played them earlier that year on a Sunday night or a Monday. I think it was a Sunday night.
That's when y'all was making that playoff run, right?
Yeah, bingo.
Okay,
bingo.
Yeah,
so that whole span of games, I believe my first year, we had to win like the last 5 games just to get in or just to be favorable, that position we wanted to get. And they was the last game, and we went to their place. And I remember it being cold, Dawkins, doing what he do. But I had a great game. I had a great performance. I don't think I scored.
Who did they still have Bobby Taylor and Troy Vincent at the corners? Troy.
No, they was gone. They was gone by that time.
Because Troy might have been in Buffalo with me by that time.
Troy played the year. He was in Buffalo at that time because Troy 2 years later came and played a year with us. Right. But I think I played against Troy them when I was with the Jets.
Yeah.
Those guys, they was old heads because I remember watching Troy Vincent when I was, a young buck, in Miami watching him with the Dolphins. But no, that year, 2005 stood out. Now I didn't have a touchdown or nothing that year, but both of those games that season stood out. But I've had some where I had I had my share of touchdowns, in big games.
I love playing against the Eagles, especially in Philly. Mm-hmm. Like some places just bring the best out of you. I felt like when you go into Philly, it's like we gladiators. Yeah. Like we on a stage. You look at that movie Gladiator, you got to win the crowd. Well, I'm trying to take the crowd out. Mm-hmm. And I can remember, cause I played there when I was in St. Louis. We played them in an NFC Championship game. Played them when I was in Buffalo. But I think in Buffalo, we played them in Buffalo. And then once I come here, every year.
Yeah, every year.
Playing them twice a year.
Yeah.
But I can remember, I just love playing in the NFC East on the road because of their crowd. We come out the tunnel. Yeah. I mean, they talking major jump.
You know what's so crazy about that too? Because you know how you have certain stadiums where you just like, man, the crowd, their fans is rude.
Yes.
They're obnoxious. Like you don't want to go there. To me, always playing in New York was like that. And I don't know if I hated going into that stadium because I was once there playing for the other team.
Right.
Or it was just I just knew how the fans were.
Yeah.
But as much as they hate and say Philly fans are bad, I didn't get that from them. Like they might talk junk, but it's respect.
Right, yeah, that's exactly
it's respect. So I used to get more of a F you Tanner, but
it wasn't like
it wasn't
I know exactly what you mean. There's been other stadiums.
Yeah, like you just like, man, I don't want to come here.
Yeah, or they like disrespectful, like saying some crazy stuff. Like, their fans are loud. You come out there, oh, y'all going down.
Yeah.
The Monday Night Football game, 2007. I know you remember this one.
Yeah.
I think it was maybe like our 3rd or 4th game of the season.
Yeah, it was early. Playing
Monday Night Football, throwing eggs at our bus, going into the stadium, and I can remember going into that game like, man, this is on, because that was the first time I had to experience something like that. And at that point in time, I had been in the league for 10 years.
Yeah.
And I never had a fans like the visiting fans.
Yeah, be on that.
Or the home team throw eggs at our bus and all that type of stuff. And man, that game was physical.
No, it was.
It was intense. I can remember S. Dot laying. I think he laid out
the wide receiver.
No, he laid out Brian Westbrook.
Westbrook, you're right.
Yeah.
Right.
So Sean got him.
I forgot all about that.
I can remember going against him, and then At the end of the game, we beat them, leaving the stadium. They throw eggs at our bus on the way out.
I know I done said this numerous of times, but other than just playing them, especially when we go there, winning, mostly when we won leaving there, I was always looking for that food because, when we go in there, they get food for us. You got them cheesesteaks sitting there waiting on you. So, back then in them days when you playing, you ain't caring about your diet and all that stuff. I'm glad you brought
up Philly cheesesteaks. Last year, so we play them on the Monday night.
Yeah.
I went back to the hotel after the game, and I'm like, I was hungry. I was like, man, I'm going to get me a Philly cheesesteak. And so it was two that was open. And
which one, Geno's or Ishkabil's?
I think Geno's was one, and it was another one. So I asked the guy, somebody who worked at the restaurant, at the hotel, like, which one should I order? Yeah. He's like, man, go with this one because this one is better. But that was gonna be like 45 minutes to an hour. So I went with the other one. Man, that was the worst damn cheesesteak I ever had. Like, you ever ate some food and you're like, man, this ain't even worth calories. This ain't worth
my time. Exactly.
Yes. I can also remember 2012 memory going against the Eagles.
Was it here?
No, it was there.
Oh, there.
We got into that season. We on a run we had just beat the.
I think we had just beat the Browns that year. Yeah, I scored a touchdown that year.
So we just beat the Browns when Kirk was the quarterback. Then we go to Philly. RG3 is back.
RG.
And I think I had like 3 straight games with interceptions. So I get a pick in that game. And I can remember you coming on the field and walk out. You say, man, you like, boy, you stay getting interceptions. And it's like we crossed it.
I had a touchdown. I remember, too, that season because that season stands out the most when it comes to just how my level of play had changed. And I still was putting out the same kind of production. You know what I mean? Like, I was big at making sure that, hey, maybe they changed my role, but my role when I touch that field, I got to be that same person. And what's the guy name is, man? I'm going to tell you, I got to share this story because this is, like, speaking of the Eagles, this guy I never knew who he was until the Hall of Fame just, 3 years ago? I went to the Hall of Fame to see Edgerrin James.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was before Edgerrin got inducted or a year afterwards, but the wide receiver there, that's a player development guy, something. He's always on the field with them. Carmichael or something like that.
Carmichael, yeah.
This guy always speaks to him, 89. Yeah. What's up, 89? And, like, you could tell, like, when somebody genuinely got love for you. So, not even really knowing what he did, I just knew him from over time of seeing him every year. So I would go out my way and say what's up to him. Didn't know his name. And I'm like that. I'm a guy that I don't remember a lot of names, so I don't care to even remember them. I just know faces and energy. Yeah. And he brought the energy every time to me, always showed me love. So I would go out my way and say what's up to him.
Right, yeah.
Long story short, we play up there in 2013. My play is I don't even get the same reps I was getting in 12. And the ball wasn't coming to me the whole game. And then the last drive, we made an effort to try to move the ball and go up for the touchdown to win the game. And I caught a 3rd down and long. Yeah. And walking off the field, and he dapped me off. He say, when in doubt, they need to throw that ball to 89. I knew it was coming. We know it's coming. I don't know why they don't know that's the guy need to get the ball.
That's crazy,
and
man.
I go back, and I'm just so happy, and they mention his name, and I say, that's him, that receiver that used to, because he was cold.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, now you fast forward, he just got, he got inducted.
6'8" receiver.
Bro, and I'm like, all these years, this man been sitting here talking to me every time we play these people, and I never knew who he was. It's crazy because
him and Mike Quick. So Mike Quick does he's their color analyst on their radio radio broadcast. Another receiver, he's Eagles royalty. Him and Harold Carmichael, the two dudes, but they always like respectful. Like they acknowledge players from other teams. Yeah, I got to think of last year, man. Thinking about the game on Monday Night Football after we beat them, the locker room. I don't know if you saw it.
No, I didn't see it.
You ain't see the videos of that? Oh, Tanner. I even had to join in, and I ain't gonna even lie.
Thought you was back in the locker room yourself.
I thought because I felt like a player, man. And the fact that the Eagles were undefeated, beat them, and the way we beat them, just running the ball. They playing cover to your trap, walking to your trap, take over your trap. Yeah. Oh man, I'm
it's crazy because I remember that game vividly, and I remember just not even having that mindset that that week of the game.
Yeah.
Especially after what had occurred when we played them earlier that year. I was like, well, damn, we just got to get out of here, with
right, yeah.
and all in one piece, And I was like, man, whether we make it a good game, that's all I care about. And I remember me and B. Mitch doing the post-game show with NBC at the time, and I was sitting up there shocked. I ain't know to be happy or just like, oh man, they just surprised me. They shocked even me.
Oh,
you understand?
Yeah.
So, but when you watch the style of play that we had, also you understand that's what you have to do to a team.
Something that stood out to me before the games, I like to be on the sidelines when I'm not doing my stuff, my responsibilities, and I was out there doing pregame warm-ups. When individual players go out there, and I see B. Rob, and we had developed a pretty good relationship, so we talking a little bit, and he had this look in his eye, like a different type of look. Yeah. And he's like, Fletch, I'm going ham tonight. And that was the first time like he said something like that.
So he knew he was going to get the load.
Yeah, and so I go up into the booth, and we getting ready to start the game, and I say, listen, tell Julian Bram, I say, I talked to B. Rob. He said he's going ham today. And sure enough,
he went ham.
Man, he was out there trucking them dudes.
He went ham.
Yeah,
no, but you got to kind of take it to a team like that, and I think that's definitely what we're gonna have to see this week.
Oh yeah.
Regardless of what we probably lean on the most, everybody got to have that mentality when they touch the ball and when they touch the field.
That's because you can't go in a place like Philly. Yeah. You can't go in there tippy-toe. You can't go in there timid. Yeah. You have to go in there like, hey, I'm gonna play my best football. It's gonna be, it's gonna be a physical game. Yeah. We know it's going to be some ebbs and flows, some ups and downs in the ball game, but you have to be ready for a 60-minute fight. Yeah. If you don't come in there with that mindset, thinking, if you don't have that type of mindset, it's going to be a long day.
No doubt.
All right, man. Well, appreciate y'all watching the Players Club. Make sure y'all tune in again next week.